What's good, guys? Welcome back to another video. I'm going to get into the Bitcoin trade. Obviously, Nasdaq is pumping like crazy right now. Oil is dropping like an absolute rock, and gold is taking off as well. And we're going to take a look at Bitcoin because this is performing well as well. And overall, just going to break down the best possible trade setups for today. And I know that the market has, kind of moved a lot prior to the recording of this video, but there are a couple of trades left that are still worth taking, especially trades that are, where you're not going to be too late on. But either way, let's just dive right into it by speaking about Bitcoin, right? And yesterday, that trade idea would have played out perfectly. Once we got that CISD, you came back to retrace and kabang, kabang, that would have given you a very, very, very solid, potentially even 3R trade by this point. Really hope you took it. And if you did, drop a comment down in the comment section below. But otherwise, in terms of Bitcoin, we're still dealing with a bullish daily bias. And daily bias is because yesterday was also bullish. So today we're still going to be looking for longs. Now, in terms of the hourly set, it's a really good sign that we've managed to get a CISD above this order block right here at 4 a.m. because now this is now validated as a potential bullish order block that we can come back to and pump. Now, do we need to come back to this level? Absolutely not, because it shows the 5-minute chart. You've got a couple of, just order blocks, and at this point, like, this is going to be a recurring theme throughout this video, but essentially with the moves that have happened today, they've all been very clear, right? Not only on Bitcoin, but you've got oil, you've got gold that have been moving very like unidirectionally. And when you get into, like, when you see a market situation like this, there's one thing that you need to keep in mind, which is that you don't necessarily need the market to retrace before you dive in. It's just like how, like, if we just take a look at oil, right? If we just took advantage of these, newly formed order blocks and just kind of shorted on every single one of them, right? It would have worked. And the core philosophy that I would like to get into your brain is that when the market has confirmed a very strong trend, in this case, very much the case for today, because the trend is very much like for oil, it's bearish, and for gold, it's bullish, and for Nasdaq, it's bullish. So when you get like really strong trends like this, just because you didn't catch, the bottom, or just because you didn't catch the exact moment when the trade, or rather when the trend kind of exploded, does not mean that you are too late. Because as long as you are sure that the trend is still going in a certain direction, which, there is no signs that this is going to stop, then you can literally just, do something that I like to call momentum trading, where uniform order blocks like this, literally, when price retraces into them, just go ahead, buy high, and then sell higher. Now, in the case of oil, you would sell low, and then you would buy back lower, which is kind of how shorting works. So you don't need to wait for price to retrace all the way back to the original spot. What's important to do today is that if you want to make money, you got to go for momentum trading. Basically, buy high, sell higher, just basically trading with the trend. And so in terms of Bitcoin, like, this would be ideal, of course, because the move hasn't really started, like, the move hasn't really exploded yet. So this would be absolutely fantastic, and it's still absolutely on the table. But in the event that you get into the New York session, which is about to start in about 5 minutes, between the hours of 7 a.m. to 10 a.m., as long as you retrace at any one of these bullish order blocks, like, just go ahead, take a trade, place your stop loss underneath the order block, target for 2R, and that's how you make money that's how you make easy money in a trending market condition, which is arguably some of the easiest times to make money on. So the same can be said for oil, the same can be said for gold. I know it's not very scientific and I know it's not very fancy, but this stuff works. And to anyone who has followed my channel for like more than a little while, you know that this stuff works, right? And essentially right now, in terms of gold, we still have a long way to go. Now, tomorrow, potentially we might retrace back into, this line right here, which would kind of be a retrace into an hourly order block where we can take advantage of a move back to 4,900. But that's not going to happen today, or at least by the time it happens today, chances are the New York session is going to be over and we're not going to be looking to trade anymore, right? Timing matters. So in terms of oil, same situation here, right? Let's zoom out a little bit and see if, we have some potential targets. Well, guess what? With how much oil has moved in just the last, couple of months alone, we have we have very clear sell side liquidity targets to take out. Now, in terms of oil, same thing here, right? Now, there's still quite a ways to go. Now, if we, eventually retrace back into the original point of, the pump or the dump, yes, that would be absolutely fantastic. But chances are we're not going to be looking for it today, and it's probably not going to happen today either. Now, the goal here is that we don't want to just, jump into these trends blindly, right? Ideally, we still want to be jumping into trends where the daily bias is aligned with the movement. Like, for example, gold. Yesterday, you had a bullish daily bias. Today, pump. So great, right? We can look for longs on gold. in terms of oil, we can look for shorts because yesterday the daily buys closed. Sorry, the daily candle closed bearish, and so the daily buys today remains bearish. The Nasdaq, we closed bullish yesterday, so we're still going to be looking for longs. So in terms of all of these charts, you know, which one would be the best? Well, I'm not even going to be looking at any of them because, like, USD Canadian just confirmed a sick little CISD after coming into a 1 hourly order block. Take a look here. Yesterday we closed bearish, so today the daily buys is bearish, and so right here, right now, like, I'm gonna take this trade right after I finish reporting this video. But USD Canadian seems to be the play where it hasn't yet kind of like took off, and yet you are still looking at a very clear target. Now, in terms of USD Canadian, one of the other ideas that I was keeping in mind from yesterday, I believe, or a couple of days ago, no, it was yesterday. So one of the ideas that I was keeping in mind was that I eventually wanted to see a CISD below this line, and once the CISD happens, then you retrace back and then you go towards the downside, targeting this low right here. And this would give us a easy 3-hour trade. Like, this for me is kind of like the A+ opportunity for today. Now, in terms of Bitcoin, ideally this would be nice, but otherwise the rest of these will just be momentum trades. Whereas, you know, USD Canadian would probably be the kind of quote unquote safe option for today. But with that said, yeah, with that said, if you like my with that said, I'll see you guys later on X if I do post anything. Chances are probably not, because I'm going to have a live trading call with the bootcamp guys. Otherwise, I'll see you guys tomorrow. Ciao, ciao.